Hey guys, let's get more news about Lakers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Spurs forward Keldon Johnson on the Lakers trade radar? The Los Angeles Lakers might be in a tailspin. After losing in the first round of the NBA playoffs to the Denver Nuggets, the Lakers had a quiet offseason, aside from hiring J.J. Redick as their head coach. Unless Bronny James is the franchise savior, expect them to struggle to even make the postseason despite having LeBron James and Anthony Davis. The San Antonio Spurs are a team on the rise, but they aren't in contention quite yet. They still can tweak the roster around Victor Wembanyama and will have to rely heavily on internal development. While they have the draft picks to swing a deal for a star, Keldon Johnson is their only player who has been included in trade rumors. As a physical forward who can occasionally hit a big shot, the Lakers might be interested in trading for him. In a recent article by Lake Show Life, Johnson was listed as an affordable 3-and-D wing that LA could target. As explained, the Spurs no longer value Johnson as a franchise centerpiece and could be willing to part ways with him. The suggested trade in the article is point guard D'Angelo Russell and draft compensation, although the Lakers don't have much draft flexibility to work with. LA could interest the Spurs in talking rookie Dalton Knecht, but he seems to be a big part of Redick's plans, so that doesn't seem very realistic. The Lakers can't quite afford to swap Russell for Johnson straight up, so a cheap young player would have to be included. In the deal below, the Spurs add 2 future-driven players and open up some cap space. Lewis played very limited minutes for the Lakers last season, but he was drafted as a long catch-and-shoot threat, which is exactly the type of player the Spurs want to pair with Wembanyama. The Spurs also get a pick for Johnson, but the most underrated part of the deal is Russell, who is only under contract for 1 more season. He would likely be buried on the depth chart or traded before the deadline, but if he stuck around, he would be an unrestricted free agent next summer, while Johnson is under contract for 3 more years. In this deal, the Spurs would add enough money to sign an elite free agent, and the 2025 class is headlined by the likes of Jimmy Butler and Fred VanVleet, as well as other proven NBA talents. The Spurs could also use the extra money to extend Jeremy Sochan, although that likely won't be a maximum deal. Dan Hurley answers whether he still wants to coach in NBA. After notably giving the Los Angeles Lakers the stiff arm this offseason, Dan Hurley is speaking out on the possibility of still making an NBA crossover at some point. The UConn head coach Hurley appeared for an interview this week on In Depth with Graham Bensinger. During the interview, Hurley addressed his decision to turn down the Lakers' head coaching job and said that coaching in college allows him to make an impact on the lives of young men in a way that being an NBA coach cannot quite achieve. I love being a part of this transformation for the last point in a young man's life where you can really have a big impact on how their life is going to play out, said Hurley, per Sports Illustrated. Like what the man becomes. That, to me, was what I realized that I love about being a college coach that you don't get to do as an NBA coach because that's not the relationship there. Hurley also answered the question of if he still wants to coach in the NBA someday. I don't know, Hurley replied. I don't know about that. If you're not going to take the Lakers job, then what job are you going to take? Hurley, 51, seriously flirted with the Lakers job this summer and seemed to come very close to accepting it, despite a strong negative reaction from his wife initially. But he ultimately chose to return to UConn for his 7th career season as their head coach and a shot at a 3rd consecutive NCAA title, which no men's basketball team has done since UCLA's legendary 7-peat from 1967 to 73. Indeed, Hurley raises a good point about how the Lakers' job is one of the most storied in sports, and saying no to even them might mean deep down that he does not actually want to go to the NBA. But whether or not Hurley eventually does flirt with the NBA again may ultimately depend on his new contract with UConn, which he signed soon after turning down the Lakers. It almost certainly contains provisions dictating how much Hurley will owe UConn if he makes the jump to the NBA, a number that will presumably drop down after every ensuing year. Six-time All-Star gets honest on Lakers passing up on him. Six-time NBA All-Star Demar Derozam did not hold back his thoughts on the Los Angeles Lakers passing up on him in 2021 and again, this summer. In an interview with The Athletic's Sam Amick, Derozam said he wanted to come home and play for the Lakers during the 2021 NBA free agency. The Lakers, however, passed up on him and instead traded for Russell Westbrook, a move which ultimately backfired. "Yeah, you just learn how to deal with it from a business standpoint," Derozam told Amick about the Lakers' decision in 2021. "Obviously, I have my selfish reasons for wanting to be able to play at home, but sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. And sometimes it probably isn't the best decision for me either. So after that didn't happen, I didn't dwell on it. I wasn't mad. They made their choice, and I just left it at that." Derozam joined the Chicago Bulls instead and earned his sixth All-Star berth in his first season there, before things began to unravel with injuries to his co-stars Lonzo Ball and Zach LaVine. Derozam said that the 2021 Knicks opportunity with the Lakers prepared him mentally when talks about another possible stint with the Lakers came up this offseason. Yeah, it did, seems like it's going to happen," Derozam told Amick. "But after the last situation, you really don't get your hopes all the way up. I think the first time before I went to Chicago, in 2021, that was the closest it had been. And even for me, I thought it was going to be that. But when that didn't happen, I didn't have high hopes because you already see how it could play out." After talks with the Lakers became frozen, as NBA insider Chris Haynes reported on July 2, Derozam quickly pivoted and joined the Sacramento Kings for a 3-year, $74 million deal via sign-and trade with the Bulls. Haynes reported we're only considering signing Derozam for the full mid-level exception after LeBron James took pay cut. I know Derozam will probably be amenable to taking on a 1-year deal. But I just don't see him taking the full mid-level exception, which is that $13 million, Haynes said on #ThisLeagueUncut podcast on July 2. "Once is enough. Twice is too much." Derozam was the fourth player James would consider taking a pay cut, according to ESPN's Brian Windhorst. Now, LeBron and Rich Paul met with the Lakers on this topic last week and they agreed, from what I am told, on a short list of players that LeBron would feel good about taking less money to get on the Lakers, Windhorst said on the Hoop Collective podcast on July 1. "I think there's more than 3 players. I think DeMar DeRozan is on that list as well, and there may be another one or so. But here's the thing. They don't have those players to sign and to even get LeBron to take less money. Right now, it would take LeBron taking a 50% pay cut, 50, about $25 million less, to get the Lakers in position to do that. Over the course of multiple years, that would potentially be a lot of money," Windhorst said. The 35-year-old DeRozan was the Bulls' leading scorer last season, averaging 24.0 points, 5.3 assists, and 4.3 rebounds in 79 games. He finished second to Golden State Warriors superstar Stephen Curry in the Clutch Player of the Year race. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of DeMar DeRozan? Leave your opinion in the comments.